settle down. All right, folks, my next guest tonight has one of the hottest daytime talk shows around. Please welcome Oprah's worst nightmare, Jerry Springer.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
So that's how it works, huh? Let's talk about something. I want to make sure we get to everything tonight. First thing we'll bring up, I get no cut of that at all?
Well, I will give it to you later.
Yeah, right.
Back to the king.
He said things about Oprah I'm not allowed to say, so there you go. Thanks for having me on the air.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, show's doing
Jay brought up a point.
Yes.
And I think it hit a chord here. Your guests cannot throw a punch. They cannot fight. Have you thought about training them? Have you thought about giving them some kind of instruction before they come out and start flailing the way I do in a fight?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I hadn't thought about that, but we probably have less lawsuits because they missed the punches.
Okay.
But, you know, you said you were the last white guy to be able to throw a punch. But Ingemar Johansson probably was the last white heavyweight champ we had anyway. I mean, it isn't like it's just our guess. I mean, we don't know how to throw punches. You know, it's true. We don't.
So,
It's not just a guess on my show. That wasn't a joke. It's true. They don't know.
I thought, okay. Someone throw a chair or something. Well, let's talk about something that really bothers me on the Too Hot for Videotape and the show in general. Too many bleeps. So many bleeps that you only sometimes hear and or the for an entire show. Occasional prepositions maybe, but for the most part, there's so many bleeps that sometimes I'm losing the thread of the story, which is, I think, the important part of the show. Have you thought about, does the language ever get to you? Does it?
Well, we're trying to get, sometimes the language is totally clean, but in order to make the show look like it's spicy, we bleep out anyway. We just put in bleeps. And
so you think without the bleeps, people are saying, I'm sorry, but I disagree, most emphatically.
Yes. See, it's the emphatically. It's the PH that people think of is the F word. You know, in England, we had British guests on our show.
You did your show in England?
We had British guests on our show. We brought them over here, and they used the word shag.
Shag, yeah.
Right, and they kept saying
made popular by Mike Myers, of course, but
right, but I didn't get it, so people just kept saying shag, but we don't have to bleep shag in America, so now we're trying to get all our guests to say shag off or...
Right. But if there's never... Good, yeah, that's going to really help the show. These are terrible ideas, Jerry. Stick to what you're doing. You actually, I didn't know this, but you have a wardrobe department that dresses the guests. Did you know? I didn't know that, but the guests show up and you guys actually dress them, isn't that right?
Well, mostly they come with their own clothing, but but sometimes they're not...
Sometimes they show up nude? What do you...
Our guests,
well, I'm here!
And they don't know that, they're not happy with their clothing, and you know, it's not as if some of the guests have a lot of great wardrobe. So we do have opportunities for them to pick something out.
Do you make them look sexier? Is that the idea?
Obviously not. But some of the clothing that they have, and this is God's truth, are my old shirts. In other words, they ask everyone on the staff to bring in stuff that they don't use anymore, and that's in our closet. So our guests sometimes come on, they say, oh, they're not happy with what they're wearing. They'll look in our closet and they put on a shirt. And every once in a while I'll be in the show and all of a sudden I'll see the next guest come out and he's wearing my old shirt. And then the audience will start getting on this person because of their wardrobe, saying, yeah, look at you. And I'm getting ticked off because that's my shirt, and I thought it was nice when I bought it. But,
that's when you start to cry a little bit on the show. A recent program was about a midget and his cheating wife. Is that right? Now, tell us, how did that show go?
Well, this little fellow was married to a normal-sized woman, and she was cheating on him with a normal-sized guy. So the guy comes out, the midget husband gets upset, and goes after him. And this was horrible, but the...
Yeah, I'm sure you're all choked up about it, Jerry. Try and just get through this painful time for you. And...
So it was sad, but he picked up the little fella, and he threw him. And he threw him in an arc. And you literally, when we ran it back slow motion, it was like you could honestly see the guests that were sitting up there. They were walking like this. But he came back.
So wait a minute, let me listen to this. You were so upset by this, you showed it again in slow motion.
We have.
This is terrible. Let's see it again. Look at him spiraling.
We have instant replays. But to his credit, he got back up. He comes charging over. The big guy felt bad about what he had done, so he goes down on his knees, and they start fighting. He's on his knees. And all of a sudden, the smaller fellow jumped on the guy, and the guy had a phobia. He was afraid of little people.
If he's afraid of little people, why was he messing around with the guy's wife?
He didn't know. He had never met the husband.
You're trying to break his phobia.
She knew.
He was confronting his fear.
Your best show you never got to show the guy that married his horse. Right? You had a guy marry his horse?
Yes.
All right.
The horse left him. But the horse, in fairness, they were married for 5 years. That was a true story. But the horse...
The horse, they were married to the horse for 5 years?
They live in Missouri. This is true. We went to the home. It was in the newspapers. We went to their home. Honestly, in their home.
Why are you so defensive about this?
The hallways are wider so the horse can go up and down. They live in the bedroom together.
So when the horse checked out that house considering to buy it, the horse was like, huh.
But we've done it.
Oh, nice. You know, unfortunately, we're completely out of time.
Yeah,
we are. No, we are. I would love to. I wish we had more time, but your problems with Jay Moore, he used it up. Check your local lynchings for the Jerry Springer show, and Jerry, come on back next time because there's more to talk about. So, Jerry Springer, everybody. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with Citizen